Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 6, verse number 2 onwards. Dharmaya kayada Dvishatrīnavacendave Bhutangiraha Krishashvebhyo Dve dve tarkshaya chaparaha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He gave 10 daughters in charity to Dharmaraj, Yamaraj, 13 to Kashyapa, first 12, and then one more, 27 to the moon god, and 2 each to Angira, Krishashva, and Bhuta. The other 4 daughters were given to Kashyap. Thus Kashyapa received 17 daughters in all. So this is the distribution of the daughters of Kashyapa, the 60 daughters that Kashyapa begot, and this is how he distributed them to various different great personalities. That breakup is here. So this has got no purport, so I'll read some more verses. This entire chapter is practically just mostly translations. So the further translations that we will read will all talk about the progeny. The chapter entitled is The Progeny of the Daughters of Daksha. So this whole chapter is about the 60 daughters of Daksha and to whom all Daksha gave them to. He gave them to moon god, to Dharmaraj, and to different personality, to Kashyapa, and their descendants, the descendants of these 60 daughters and their husbands. The descendants is what we will read now. So let us hear these nice narrations from the Bhagavatam. Verse number 3. Now I'll just read by myself. Namadheyani amusham tvam sapatyanam cha me shrinu yasam prasuti prasaver loka apuritastrayah. Now please hear from me the names of all these daughters and their descendants who filled all the 3 worlds. So the entire universe, the 3 loka, upper, middle and lower, how they got filled is from these 60 daughters of Kashyapa and their husbands. Bhanurlamba kakudyamir vishvasadhya marutvati vasur muhurta sankalpa dharma patnya sutan shuno. The 10 daughters given to Yamaraj were named Bhanu, Lamba, Kakud, Yami, Vishva, Sadhya, Marutvati, Vasu, Muhurta and Sankalpa. Now hear the names of their sons. Bhanostu Deva Rishabha, Indrasenastato Nripa, Vidyota Asi Lambayas Tatascha Stanavitnavaha. Translation. O king, a son named Deva Rishabha was born from the womb of Bhanu, and from him came a son named Indrasena. From the womb of Lamba came a son named Vidyota, who generated all the clouds. Kakudaha sankatastasya kikatastanayo yataha bhuvo durgani yameyaha swargo nandistato bhavat. From the womb of Kakud came the son named Shankata, whose son was named Kikata. From Kikata came the demigod named Durga. From Yami came the son named Swarga, whose son was named Nandi. Vishve devastu vishvaya aprajamstan prachakshate sadhyo ganascha sadhyaya artha siddhistu tatsutaha. The sons of Vishva were the Vishvadevas, who had no progeny. From the womb of Sadhya came the Sadhyas, who had a son named Artha Siddhi. Verse number 8. Marutvamscha jayantascha marutvatva babhuvatuhu jayanto vasudevamsha upendra iti yam viduhu. The two sons who took birth from the womb of Marutvati were Marutvan and Jayanta. Jayanta, who is an expansion of Lord Vasudeva, is known as Upendra. Number 9. Muhurtika devagana muhurtayascha jagnire ye vai phalam prayachanti bhutanam swaswakalajam. The demigods named Muhurtikas took birth from the womb of Muhurta. These demigods deliver the results of actions to the living entities of their respective times. Sankalpayastu sankalpaha kama sankalpaja smritaha vasavo astu vasavostau vasoputras tesham namani me shrunu drona prano dhrunorkognir dosho vastur vibhavasuhu dronasya bhimate patnya harsha shoka bhayadayaha. The son of Sankalpa was known as Sankalpa, and from him lust was born. The sons of Vasu were known as the 8 Vasus. Just hear their name from me: Drona, Prana, Dhruva, Arka, Agni, Dosha, Vastu and Vibhavasu. From Abhimati, the wife of the Vasu named Drona, were generated. From Abhimati, the wife of Vasu named Drona, were generated the sons named Harsha, Shoka, Bhaya, and so on. Pranasyorjasvati bharya sahayu purojavaha dhruvasya bharya dharanir asuta vividhapuraha. Urjaswati, the wife of Prana, gave birth to 3 sons named Saha, Ayus and Purojava. The wife of Dhruva was known as Dharani, and from her womb various cities took birth. Arkashya vasana bharya putras tarshadaya smritaha Agner bharya vasordhara putra dravinakadayaha. From the womb of Vasana the wife of Arka, came many sons headed by Tarsha. Dhara, the wife of the Vasu, named Agni, gave birth to many sons headed by Dravinaka. 14. Skandascha kritika putro ye vishakhadayastataha doshasya sharvari putraha shishumaro hare kala. From Kritika, another wife of Agni, came the son named Skanda, Kartikeya, whose sons were headed by Vishaka. From the womb of Sarvari, the wife of the Vasu, named Dosha, came the son named Shishumara, who was an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vastorangirashi putro Vishvakarma kriti Vishvakarma kriti patihi tato manush chakshusho bhud vishve sadhya manosutaha. From Angirashi, the wife of Vasu, named Vastu, was born. From Angirashi, the wife of Vasu named Vastu, was born the great architect Vishvakarma. Vishvakarma became the husband of Akriti, from whom the Manu named Chakshusha was born. The sons of Manu were known as the Vishvadevas and Sadhyas. 16. Vibhavasor Ashutosha Vyushtam Rochisham Matapam Panchayamotha Bhutani Yena Jagrati Karmasu. Usha, the wife of Vibhavasu, gave birth to 3 sons, Vyushta, Rochisha and Atapa. From Atapa came Panchayama, the span of day, who awakens all living entities to material activities. 17 and 18. Sarupa Suta Bhutasya Bharya Rudramscha Kotishaha Raivato Jo Bhavo Bhimo Vama Ugro Vrishakapiha. Ajaikapad Ahirbrandho Bahurupo Mahaniti Rudrasya Parshadaschanye Ghora Preta Vinayakaha. Sarupa, the wife of Bhuta, gave birth to the 10 million Rudras, of whom the 11 principal Rudras were Raivata, Aja, Bhava, Bhima, Vama, Ugra, Vrishakapi, Ajaikapat, Ahirbrandhna, Bahurupa and Mahan. Their associates, the ghosts and goblins, who are very fearful, were born of the other wife of Bhuta. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that Bhuta had 2 wives. One of them, Sarupa, gave birth to the 11 Rudras, and the other wife gave birth to the associates of the Rudras known as the ghosts and hobgoblins. Number 19. Prajapaterangirashaha swadha patni pitrinatha atharvangirasham vedam putratve chakarotsati. The Prajapati Angira had 2 wives named Swadha and Sati. The wife named Swadha accepted all the pitas as her sons, and Sati accepted the Atharvangirasha Veda as her son. Krishashvo Richishi Bharyayam Dhumaketum Ajijanat Dhishannamyam Dhishanayam Vedashiro Devalam Vayunam Manum. Krishashva had two wives named Archis and Dhishana. In the wife named Archis, he begot Dhumaketu, and in Dhishana he begot 4 sons named Vedashira, Devala, Vayuna and Manu. 21 and 22. Tarshyasya vinata kadruhu patagni patangi yaminiti cha patangi asuta patagan yamini shalabhanatha suparna suta garudam Sakshad Yagnesha Vahanam Suryasutam Manurum Cha Kadrur Nagananekashaha. Kashyapa, who is also named as Tarkshya, had 4 wives: Vinata, Suparna, Kadru, Patangi and Yamini. Patangi gave birth to many kinds of birds, many kinds of birds, and Yamini gave birth to locusts. Vinata, Suparna, gave birth to Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, and to Anuru or Aruna, the chariot driver of the sun, and to Anuru or Aruna, the chariot driver of the sun god. Kadru gave birth to different varieties of serpents. 23. Kritikadini nakshatran Indo patnyastu bharata Daksha sapat sonapatyas Tasu yakshma graharditaha. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharatas, the constellations' names Kritika were all wives of the moon god. However, because Prajapati Daksha had cursed him to suffer from a disease causing gradual destruction, the moon god could not beget children in any of his wives. Because the moon god was very much attached to Rohini, he neglected all his other wives. Therefore, seeing the bereavement of these daughters, Prajapati Daksha became angry and cursed him. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, this chapter, the progeny of the daughters of Daksha, we have been reading how Daksha, who was ordered by Brahma, who was in turn ordered by Krishna to fill the entire planet, the entire 3 worlds, the entire universe with population, had set out on this task of creation, progeny, producing offsprings, and he begot 11,000 children, male child 10,000 Haryashvas, and then another 1,000. And all of them, Narad Muni converted them to great devotees, so they refused to execute the task of their father, and they took up sannyas and they wanted to go back to Godhead. And that's how, and then we heard how Daksha curses Narad Muni for having foiled his plan of creation, and we had the whole pastime about that. And now next, what did Daksha do? He was afraid that he made a 3rd attempt, and in this attempt he bore only in the wife of his womb, he had only daughters. So he gave birth to 60 daughters, And as per the Shastra, as per the Vedic rules, the daughters are not supposed to lead take up sannyasa. The daughters, the children are all supposed to be married, and they are supposed to serve their husband very faithfully. And when girls serve their husband, then according to the scriptures, all the women, they get to share the piety or the results of their husbands. So Prabhupada writes in the previous purport that when the husbands, if they are devotees and they go back to Godhead, their wives also go back to Godhead. That is a great benefit that they get. So that is what we read till the last class. And now in this session, in this class here, it is being the entire progeny of the daughters of Daksha is being described. So it began how he distributed his 60 daughters. He gave 10 daughters in charity to Dharmaraj. Kanyadai, the obligation of giving in charity. So he gave 10 daughters to Dharmaraj, 13 to Kashyap, 27 to Moon God, and 2 each to Angira, Krishashva, and Bhuta. And 4 other daughters were also given to Kashyap, so thus Kashyap received 7 daughters in all. So it's a very interesting description of how the planet got filled with all the population, with all the 84 lakh species that we see today. We read the names. There are birds, there are locusts, and we heard the name, and it's very wonderful to see that everything is a personality. The Muhurta, one of them gave birth to Muhurta. We know Muhurta is a good time to obtain the good result of something. Now here in the Bhagavatam it is said that that's also a personality. And so you may have done something good in that particular time, Muhurta, right? And we think that in this Muhurta I did it, so I will get it. But no, you may do something good in that Muhurta, in that good time, but unless and until that personality Muhurta decides that it will be given to you, you will not receive it. So that's how we have read earlier also that so there's just like the earth. We don't understand these finer things, these subtle things. There's a Bhumi Devi, there's a Prithvi, there's a personality in charge of this planet Earth. Sun God, Vivaswan, there's a personality in charge. We read clouds, that is also a personality. Just like in the Indra planet, he orders all the different clouds. Each one of them is a personality. So Muhurta is a personality. Then the span of the day is a personality. So like this, they are all different personalities, and they bestow the reactions of the actions of all the living entity based on their karma, based on the kind of action they have performed. If we perform good actions, they will bestow their results. If we perform bad actions, then the similar result will come. So this is how we understand how the population was filled up in Earth, was filled up on this planet and in an entire 3 worlds. And we have to have faith in these instructions of Bhagavatam, believe in these narrations. We should not think that these are just mere stories. No, these are facts. And simply by believing in them, by having faith in them, we are immediately awakened. We immediately get full knowledge. So this is the process of receiving knowledge. The material method, the modern method of receiving knowledge is called the ascending method. Ascending method means they will try to interpret, they will try to use their senses, which are all defective because our senses are very limited. We have this cheating tendency, we have the tendency to be illusioned, we have so many other defects, the 4 defects that we have, we can't see at a distance, and we don't have enough knowledge. And so all these defects are there. With these defects, we cannot come to real knowledge. So we have all been taught this theory of evolution, Darwin's theory of evolution, how the human species came into existence, and some natural selection, and automatically, and our ancestors were not intelligent beings. They were all we have read that we all were born from monkey species or some other species, but this is not what is the Bhagavatam saying. And it makes more sense. How can an intelligent human being come out from an unintelligent, or come out from matter for that matter? It makes no sense. An intelligent human being is the product of still more intelligent human being. Just like the computer, Prabhupada, it's a very simple example. A computer is such an intelligent object. We take pride in creating computers, right? So and the computer is doing wonders. Today the whole world is the world of technology. You can make rockets, you can do so much of advanced research in biology, in genetics, in science, all because of this computer power. Now, computer is so advanced and we take great pride, but who created the computers? If the computer is the creation of computer, the computer didn't come into existence by itself. The computer was created because of this powerful brain, this human being. The human being is responsible for creating a computer. So in the same way, if we further analyze, if such an intelligent human brain is the cause of creating a computer, then who's the cause for the creation of this most intelligent human brain? It must have been someone even more intelligent. And that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And how all the 84 lakh species of life have descended on this planet Earth, the explanation is here. Lord Krishna, he first gave birth to Brahma, his first son, and then Brahma had further children. Daksha is one of them. And through Daksha, all these varieties of population, varieties of species came into existence. So this is the information from the Bhagavatam. So this is called the descending process. Our process is called, the material process is called the ascending process. Ascending process is fraught with defects because of the limitations of our senses. We cannot see everything, senses are so limited. We are sitting in this room, imagine if all the lights go off and we are having a class in the evening. We cannot see anyone. So with these senses, I can see to a limited extent only with the help of light. So you see how limited we are? Seeing, I cannot see beyond a certain distance, and I cannot see even objects which are very close to my eyes. Which is the closest thing close to my eyes? My eyelashes or the eyelid. It's so close to my eye. Can I see the eyelashes or can I see the eyelid? So I cannot see something very close, I cannot see something very far, and in between what I can see is also with the help of an external source, external light. So such being the limitation, I cannot hear anything below 20 hertz, beyond 20 kilohertz. I cannot do so many things. So with these limited senses, how are we to come to know how did all these species came into existence, and then we make a speculation, we make a concoction. So these are the frailties of the humans. This is called the ascending process. Descending process, hear it immediately, without delay, you get the perfect knowledge. Like Prabhupada gave the example, if a child wants to know who his father is, the child will just go and ask the mother. Mother is the authority to tell her son who his father is. And immediately he comes to know. Otherwise, it's impossible for the child to come to know who his father is. So similarly, for us, Bhagavatam is the authority. Krishna is the authority. We simply accept what Krishna says and immediately we get the complete knowledge. So here, the different personalities, how they came into existence has been given, and we simply have to hear them nicely, and if we hear them, we get complete knowledge. So simply by hearing, we get liberated. So this is the Bhagavatam, and this one Bhagavatam is enough. All kinds of knowledge is there in the Srimad. All types of knowledge is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavatam, in the beginning itself, it is said, Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim va Parer Ishwaraha. The Srimad Bhagavatam has been compiled by the great sage Mahamuni Vasudev Krite. Kim va Parer. And what is the need for any other book? All knowledge is contained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Kim va Parer Ish. And then what is the effect now? You may be thinking like, you're just hearing these names, different names, different personalities who came into existence. But these are completely, this is the knowledge given in the Bhagavatam. It is connected to Krishna. It's Krishna's Brahma and then all the descendants. So everything in the Srimad Bhagavatam is connected to Krishna. So anywhere, any part of Bhagavatam we read, we will be enlightened. Our hearts will be purified. That's why we chant that verse every day. Shinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridiyantasta hi abhadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam. In the Hridiyanta abhadrani. Why do we read the Bhagavatam? Because inside Hridiyanta, deep inside our heart, there is abhadrani, there is impurity, there is dirt, there is kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. All these things are sitting deep inside our. But simply by hearing these wonderful narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam, all these things can be completely cleansed. In the Hridiyanta, Hridyantastahi abhadrani. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, they said, in the same Hridiyanta, which is now filled with abhadra, simply by daily hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, what will happen? In the same Hridiyanta, when everything is cleansed, then Krishna will personally reside inside the heart. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim va Parer Ishwara Sadyo Hridi Avarudhyate. Hridi Antaha Hridi Avarudhyate. Hridi Avarudhyate means also deep inside the heart. Prabhupada translates Hridi Avarudhyate as deep inside the cavity of our heart. So it's not just the heart, it's right inside our heart. That is where all the dirt is sitting. So by daily hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Hridi Avarudhyate, Sadyo Hridi Avarudhyate. Sadyo. If we hear attentively, Sadyo Hridi Avarudhyate Atra Kritibihi Shushru Shubhis Tat Shanat. Sadyo Tat Shanat Shushru Shubhi Hridi Avarudhyate. These 4 words are very important. What is that? Shushru Shubhi. Shushru Shubhi means attentively, carefully, if we hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, then Sadyo Tatshanat. Sadyo means at once, Tatshanat means without delay. Very quickly, Hridi Avarudhyate Ishwaraha. Ishwara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, will personally make his residence inside our heart. The place right now where lust, anger, hatred, all these things are sitting. So it's not a small thing hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is going to cleanse us completely from all these contaminations. So this faith we must have. I am now going to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. I am now going to read Prabhupada books. I am now going to hear these wonderful narrations. For what? For purification. This is our main business. What is our business? To purify our heart. We are here in the material world because of the impure heart. And this human form of life has been given to us for this purpose only. How to cleanse our heart. How to purify our heart. Everything will be cleansed. So, with great enthusiasm, we must be reading Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not an ordinary activity that we are doing, daily Srimad Bhagavatam hearing. Slowly, 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 our hearts will be cleansed. Yasyam Vaishhuyamanayam Krishne Parama Purushe Bhakti Ut utpadyate pumsam shoka moha bhaya apaha. By daily hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, yasyam vai shuyamanayam Krishne parama purushe, about Krishna. These are all narrations about Krishna. Everything in the Bhagavatam is about Krishna. What happens? 4 things happen if you hear Bhagavatam attentively. First, bhakti utpadyate pumsam. Bhakti will awaken in the heart of that person who is hearing. And 3 things will leave us for good. These are the things that we are battling with inside our heart, inside our mind. What are the 3 things that will leave us? Shoka, moha, bhaya, apaha. They will leave us. Shoka, lamentation. Moha, illusion. Bhaya, fear. We all want a solution. How to be fearless. How to be free from lamentation. How to be free from illusion, shoka, moha, bhaya. This is the answer. Simply nityam bhagavata sevaya. Very attentively, very carefully, very submissively, very faithfully. Such wonderful narrations. So Bhagavatam has been given to us to hear every day. So if you are not here, so not hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day can be compared to like a deaf man. How not hearing Bhagavatam is like a deaf man? Deaf man means what? He cannot hear anything. So if we are not hearing Bhagavatam, we may be hearing so many other things which is not Bhagavatam or relation with Bhagavatam. It is actually not hearing anything. Because those things are not going to free us from the cycle of birth and death. It's going to keep us more and more entangled in the cycle of birth and death. So there's no use at all in hearing anything that is not connected to Krishna. Our ears are meant for hearing. Hearing Krishna Katha. Ear is the most powerful instrument. That's why Shravanam, of the 9 processes, the first process is Shravanam. And the right way to make use of the Shravanam, ear, is to hear about Krishna. And the ear, it is the only sense which is active even when we are deep asleep. That's why it is said that, a person who is sleeping and a thief is coming inside his house, the only way to wake him up is by shouting, is by calling out loudly. The louder you call, the quicker he will hear and he'll wake up. So in the same way, we are all sleeping in illusion. We are all in Maya. It's considered to be like the sleeping position. So we are in that position and we have blessed with this instrument ear. All that we have to do is that we have to hear. Hear Bhagavatam Nityam every day. We don't have to spend anything. We don't have to... there was one very nice quote recently I was reading. Prabhupada writes this in the Back to Godhead article. And this is Back to Godhead started in the year 1944. And in that year, the first year, in one of those initial issues, Prabhupada writes about hearing the holy name, hearing Bhagavatam. There is nothing to lose, there is nothing to spend, but everything to gain by chanting the name. Everything to gain by chanting the name. So simply chanting the names, when you hear Bhagavatam, when you read Bhagavatam, it is all chanting the name and this is all gain. So we must make a strong resolve, determination, I must hear Bhagavatam every day. That is the only thing that will free us, that will liberate us. So we'll end here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Dai Gaur Premanand.